Hey everybody out there in the land of YouTube, Annette Dion here. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. It's the day before Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and I'm just going to do a reading on the events of today, what's currently happening. And I remember when this country was peaceful. Do you? Do you remember when this country was peaceful? That was when we didn't have a fascist dictator in the White House that works for our enemy. Remember that? We need to get back there. And we need to understand that authoritarianism, in order to take hold and succeed and take down a democracy, needs us to get worn down. So I'm going to play you something. This is Popak interviewing somebody from, I think it's Democracy Watch.
That our public school system and that our Department of Education,
quality in education among women, and I mean, it's just mind-boggling that a president would try to destroy the Department of Education, and then with a series of lies. You hear Linda McMahon say, well, we're just going to get rid of the red tape and make it so the states have the power. Then why are you chopping up the Department of Education and sending the programs off to Health and Human Services and the State Department and the Interior Department? You're just adding layers of incompetence. You're not putting education closer to the people.
Right, absolutely. Well, this has been quite a journey on this case because we've won before every federal court that has considered whether the Department of Education can be decimated by this president. And let's just take a pause and remember, this was in Project 2025.
So that's just a little bit of, that's from Michael Popak's Substack. So check it out. I just wanted to play a little bit of that for you. But that person from Democracy Watch, Sky Perryman, Democracy Forward. Democracy Forward is the name of the organization. Made the point that authoritarianism relies on us becoming so overwhelmed with news that we get too fatigued and too exhausted, and we just decide to just hand over our country. It relies on that. It needs for us to get exhausted to the point where we just can't keep going. So we need stamina. Now, in the face, I know it seems like all we get is bad news. In the face of the tragic shooting of 2 National Guardsmen that were in Washington, D.C., that should not have even been there because the Dumpy the moron is making the authoritarian move of using our military to relay unlawful orders. The posse comitatus, we've heard that now several times. Their job is not to be in our cities. I can't say attacking the American people, but intimidating the American people. Let's think back to when the National Guard meant our fellow Americans who did the training and swore an oath and responded to the call of duty to help us in emergencies. A few days ago, we know the Democrats that had served in the military did a public service announcement to let our members of the military know, to just reinforce the law, the feeling, to reiterate, to remind them that those who had served in our military that are now serving in our Congress have their backs and will defend them disobeying unlawful orders, will defend them and support them in not doing things, for one thing, against the American people that they swore an oath to defend and protect. They appealed to their humanitarianism and their oath and their natural desire to serve. So then Mark Kelly starts getting all these threats that start from the monster in chief, the orange monster in chief. The shooting happens, and what do? Do you remember the time in the past when if there was a tragic shooting, the whole nation pulled back and did a pause? This is serious. To be shot and killed, or shot and injured, or shot and be put in a coma, to be shot. Do we ever reflect on what that is? You have a healthy body, you're doing whatever, unsuspecting, minding your own business. And that happens. Do we ever really just kind of reflect on that? I know that we numb out, and that's the authoritarian tactic. So, do you remember when people were decent, and rather than going on the attack, to start pointing fingers at the people they don't like and saying, it's your fault that these National Guardsmen got shot? Do you remember when that was like the most despicable and unthinkable thing that a person could do, where you gasp in horror? Oh my gosh, people are mourning, they're in grief, they're mortified. We don't currently know at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time on November 26th if those National Guardsmen are alive or dead. We don't know. I don't know if the news is out yet. They were in critical condition the last I heard. I heard varying reports. There are people that are all MAGA that have huge followings on their podcasts and YouTube channels or whatever. I'm going to remind us all of something, or if you didn't know, maybe it's news. They're being paid by the Kremlin to the tune of something like $400,000 a damn month. That information came out about 2 years ago, or a little less. They're still on the air. They're still drumming up violent rhetoric. They're still heaping it on the American people that we, the American people, are the problem. Why are we the problem? Why are we, who want to be part of our democracy, who love our country, why are we the problem? Because Putin hates us. That's why we're the problem. And they have a megaphone for Vlad. So I'll be damned. This tragic event this afternoon, which didn't surprise me, because every time there's a shooting, before I even know about it, maybe this happens to you, I just start shutting down. So today I'm like, I feel myself shutting down. Then I heard about the shooting. Happens every time. So Dumpy is down in Mar-a-Lago, like he always is, because he just has to run away from the White House. But I'm livid, and you're livid, and we're getting ready to celebrate a day of gratitude, and we're all wondering, should we just go into the silence for the day tomorrow? One thing's for certain, and I'm going to pull some cards in a little bit. We need to be dug in. We need to not numb out. We need to dig in even further. We're under attack. Russia they're encroaching on the United States of America in order to take us over and turn us into the Russian Federation of America. I've been saying that for a long time. That's what I see that Putin has in his mind. I'm not telling you that that he's going to win. I'm not telling you that that's what we're going to turn into. What I'm saying is this is what's happening, in case there was any doubt. These podcasters, these MAGAs are working for the enemy. So, I blame this on Trump. And there the National Guard was. I mean, my heart goes out to them. They probably don't know. Like, can they really say no? That's a really slippery slope. Can they really say no? We don't want to be in D.C. because that's not our job to do law enforcement for criminals in D.C. because that's law enforcement. They can handle it. Those that just went, 2 of them got shot. Potentially mortally. I hope not. I really want us to keep our sanity, and it's hard, and that's why I have Off the Ledge, and that's why I show up 2-3 times a day, to keep us stable and to keep us on track, and to reiterate again and again and again, we cannot quit. When they go on the attack, we have to ramp it up. I'm going to read on Pete Kegsbreath, that fucking piece of shit, who has no business heading up our military. None whatsoever. He worked at Fox. You know, the network that lies. I'm going to pull 3 cards about him. So what he said was, whoever did this is going to pay. And now we're going to bring in 500 more National Guard troops. Are they going to want to go? Let's ask if that's actually going to happen. So what Kegsbreath is saying, basically, is he's going to call in more National Guardsmen to D.C. after 2 of them were shot by a wild person. I'm just going to leave it there for the time being. By some crazy person. The reason I'm going to leave it there for the time being is because it's probably a backstory, and I'm not going to go into that right now. Because there's backstories to Butler, there are backstories to Utah, and there are backstories to this. There's a lot of backstories. And unfortunately, we live in a country now where I have to say what I say in limited little blurbs. Is Kegsbreath going to succeed in getting more National Guardsmen to D.C.? So far that says yes. I'm going to get a number. 100, 200, 300, 400. That's where it stands at the present moment. So we're going to read more into that. I wish it was a happier day. We all do. We all do. And I have a sense that our military has had enough of this regime. Three cards about Kegsbreath. He's out drinking. You know he's out drinking. You know he is. So just because I read that the National Guardsmen more will go to D.C. doesn't mean that he's gonna... that Kegsbreath is going to succeed. The fool. The military is just kind of waiting this out in a certain way, not doing anything drastic at the present moment. I'm sure a lot of them are in shock. I mean, these guys, it's a war. You know, they're like these National Guardsmen are out there. 2 of their own get shot. Kegsbreath the Fool, it's a matter of time before it's recognized. Well, it is recognized, but before it goes really public that he's working for the Kremlin. It's so fucking obvious. Let's pull a card about what happens to him. Oh, I see a bunch of them that are called out for their connections. Let's see. Let me pull one card about what happens to Kegsbreath. I'm seeing handcuffs, people. I mean, I know that might seem all Pollyanna, Queen of Swords. When this card comes up, I think about Kamala, and I think about the great crime against her. Because, you know, like my mugs say, Kamala won. Let's ask the Pendulum. Let's ask the Pendulum. Is there going to be any information coming out about the election in 2025? Yes. There will be information about the election in 2024, I meant to say. Let's do that again. Will there be more information that comes out about the election last year? Will there be more information that comes out? Okay. Is the data going to be made available to the public that the election was stolen? Is that going to be made available to the public that the election was stolen? Okay, so it might not be data. Let's read a little bit more into that. Because I do see Kamala coming up. Well, let's ask this now. Will Kamala Harris be involved in exposing what's going on with this regime? Will she be involved in exposing, in any way, will she be involved in exposing what's gone on with this regime? See, she knows. She was in the Biden White House. She will tell what she knows as soon as the time is right. I'm going to pull 3 cards about, I'm going to pull 3 cards about the 2024 election. More and more people are on board with ousting this regime. Don't think they aren't. And so when this happens, things get amped up. Unfortunately, the violence gets amped up. As the people get more and more upset and Dumpy gets more and more threatened, things amp up. You know, and I'm sure that people suspect that perhaps, of course, you know, you could wax all conspiracy and think Trump knew about the shooting and, you know, it's trying to invoke the Insurrection Act and blah, 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 and all that, right? You know that people are surmising that or theorizing that might be one thing that happened today. So what we're going to look at is what's going to happen. Yeah, I have the Chariot and the 2 of Wands. This is being, what's going on in this country is being weighed out. I have the 2 of Wands and the Chariot. I do keep getting the Chariot recently and the King of Cups. The King of Cups has indicated recently that there's a point that we, the people, will be reaching as a collective where we just kind of throw caution to the wind in a certain way, where we just go, I don't care. We need to save the planet. I don't care. We need to save civilization. I don't care. We need to save our country. It all goes together. And the King of Cups is our overwhelming emotions. The 2 of Wands is us just kind of like, I know it's more than a At least we're not numbing out. And the Chariot, something happens quickly. And when I say something happens quickly, I'm referring to some kind of action taken. So once again, I'm going to read on our military. Something happens. My guides just said, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Because the minute we lose a sense of hope, a sense of a brighter tomorrow, the minute we fall into that temptation to lose our sense of hope, our sense of things can turn around and are turning around and will turn around, then authoritarianism wins. So just know that this year there are so many people that used to be for Trump that are just furious right now at him. He doesn't like that in the least. So I'm actually reading on our military. I mean, now that this has happened this afternoon, I'm sure a lot of our military are thinking twice about obeying unlawful orders. Maybe they'll kind of look into it more. Is this an unlawful order for us to be in D.C. on the streets when law enforcement can handle it and nobody, well, D.C. is a little bit of a different situation, but the other cities in the blue states especially. But I don't know, they're in Memphis now too. And I don't like that they put ICE in the cities where the National Guard, they throw in there too, to confuse the public as to what the role of the military is, right? Do not go back to sleep. Stay woke. Our military. The world is watching. The Nine of Swords. This is a highly, highly, highly stressful time. The Temperance card came up again. I know it's hard. We have to hold steady. I know it's hard. We have to hold steady. I'll say it one more time. I know it's hard, but we have to hold steady. Think about Ukraine. And I was thinking about Ukraine today. And I was, in retrospect, thinking back to 2018, 2019, right around that time when Giuliani kept flying to Ukraine. It's like, and you probably felt the same way or thought the same thing. Like, what, Ukraine? What's like the most I ever thought about Ukraine was I learned in school that Ukraine was the breadbasket of the world, and the Ukrainian bell carol came from. It's one of my favorite things to play on the piano. Came from Ukraine. That's about as little as I knew. And that back in 2018, 2019, Rudy Giuliani's going to Ukraine and doing all these deals, and they said Hunter Biden was doing something that was illicit in Ukraine, and all of a sudden we're hearing about Ukraine, right? Of course we were, because Dumpy's in bed with Pootie, who wants Ukraine. All roads lead back to Russia. So wait, I'm reading on our military. I get all flustered. Oh my. Few things. Okay. The world is watching. I believe we're still in NATO, but I don't even know anymore. The Nine of Swords. The world is losing sleep over what's going on in the United States. Dumpy is going to be pretty sunk by. I know I'm reading on the military, but Dumpy's going to be pretty sunk by the prices of things. The people will revolt. Yeah, there's that Temperance card again. Hold steady. And do the work. Hold steady and do the work. I'm going to read on Mr. Witkoff, for whom I don't feel good things coming. He deserves not having good things coming. A lot of people are suffering because of these horrible monsters. I'm just going to pull a few cards on Witkoff and what his fate is. The Russian asset. I think the world really knows now. I think it's very clear. It's taken a little bit of time, but I think the world is very clear. Oh, what happened to America? They've been invaded by the Kremlin. If there was any doubt before, there's no doubt now. Witkoff is actually being lied to and gaslit by the Kremlin. Interesting. Two of Wands. This card just keeps coming up. Things are just hanging in the balance. And so there's a kind of a little bit of good news with that. You know, just kind of, it's like we're at the top, we're at the peak of a mountain and we're rocking back and forth, right? Just kind of, okay, well, let's see which way this is going to go. But as we're just there, we can get clearer about what to do. But anyway, as far as Witkoff goes, the Kremlin is gaslighting him. Putin is gaslighting him. Of course, that's what he does. It's like Alexei Navalny said, that Putin never stops lying. God rest his soul. Joan of Arc. I actually see members of our Congress bringing this up, what Witkoff is doing. Now, of course they should bring it up. Let's see if anything's going to happen. Like I'm getting like Jamie Raskin, of course, right? Is this going to become an issue? Is this Witkoff situation? Yes. It's going to be a big issue up for discussion. Okay, so let's ask this. Is Dumpy going to be held accountable for his crimes against the United States? I have a yes. I know. I'm going to just level with everybody. I know that you're probably going crazy hearing that it's coming for years now. But I've never gotten that it's not coming. I mean, the end for them. Even when they stole the election, as I look down, I see the Wheel of Fortune. Change of circumstances. Yes, it's there. I'm going to ask the Pendulum, this shooting this afternoon, are the American people going to believe, are the majority of the American people going to believe that the Democrats had anything to do with this shooting? No, absolutely not. No. Does the shooting of the National Guardsmen change things? Does it change things? It does. Okay. Is there anything, poor guys, is there anything that will come out of it that's going to be helpful? Yeah, I actually think that this is going to the American people are going to be dug in way more because we've had 10 years of this. It's a Democratic hoax. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Democrats that ruin your lives. It's the Democrats that commit the crimes. It's the Democrats that rigged the election. It's the Democrats. It's the Democratic hoax that COVID happened. It's the Democrats' fault that you don't have health care. It's the Democrats' fault that the economy is going down. You know? After a while, how about it's like the Epstein file? It's a Democratic hoax. After a while, do we need a magic electricity globe moment? Yes, we do. Visualize the energy of us as a collective going in and rectifying this situation energetically. This is our thought energy all going in the direction of wiping out this regime for the highest good of all. And we're back. I kind of like that little prop. Dear guides, we need hope. We need hopeful. So I'm going to ask a hopeful question. I'm going to ask this. It's taking me a little while. A hopeful question. Are things going to improve in 2026? Yes. Hallelujah. test. It's an endurance test, and it's a test of how hard are we willing to fight for our freedom, for us and for future generations, for all the kids. Just for kicks, will this regime be removed? Will this regime be removed in December? Okay, I'm going to read on that. I don't know how, but this card is showing itself to me. Well, you know, I just want you to know that the American people getting everything cut and stolen from them is actually going to be the motivating factor. And it's not just people that are Democrat. It becomes not a Democrat or Republican thing anymore. It's you're either a malignant narcissist sociopath or you're a good person kind of thing. Queen of Pentacles, Eight of Cups. Oh yeah, we'll be mourning what we lost, but the Queen of Pentacles is we will be gaining anew. Let's just be frank. America will not be what it used to be. I think we all know that, right? America will not be what it used to be. But let's think of this. We have a lot to build back on. You know, wouldn't it be nice if we just jumped timelines and we could have like the Biden-Harris administration and going right into the Harris-Walz administration. I mean, if anything, the law of contrast says what we have now is making us really direct our energy to what we really, really want. And that's the ticket. That's the key. We have to get away from, oh, might as well just, there's nothing we can do. We're so tired. We have to get away from that. And we have to use, no, I mean have to, like I'm speaking to all of us, myself included. This is really necessary. That we get so freaking fed up with this regime that we use how angry we are to catapult us into something brand new. We are doing it. But they are setting us back by just pounding away at us and pounding away at us and pounding away at us and pounding away at us. In some ways, it's, you know, we have to count our blessings for sure. But it is like a war, but it's not like the war on Ukraine. It's a war of just bad things, bad things, bad things, bad things to get you to a place of absolute despair and hopelessness. We are not weak. We are strong. And we will fight and we will win. So, I'll leave you with that. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I'll be live streaming a special Church of Spirituality service on gratitude and Thanksgiving. Some of you, I told you that I was working on my 1,000 gratitudes to write by Thanksgiving. I'm happy to say that I am just about to my goal. That was quite a challenge. I had to write like 30 gratitudes a day to reach the goal. So I'm almost there. I've got like 20 left. And that's exciting. I hope that you're getting ready to have a relaxing Thanksgiving Day. Continue to pray, continue to intend. And speaking of that, we do have our guided meditation for a Healed America. For any of you who are around, who are able to show up, live stream. So it's 2 live streams tomorrow and an Off the Ledge video. Live streaming at 7 p.m. Eastern as usual. So if you can join us, please do. I understand if you're busy. Okay, I'll see you soon. Thumbs up, please hit the hype button and subscribe and become a member because you have access to all kinds of good stuff when you're a member. All right. Love you lots. Happy Thanksgiving. Namaste.